Hi, my name is Honey. I am honey to Lily, Micah, Nate, and Ethan, and I'm going to read a book this morning called Caps for Sale. I used to read this book to your dads, and I hope you like it. Once upon a time, there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like any ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on the top of his head. First, he had his own checkered cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap, and he began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. He slept for a very long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. And all he felt was his own checkered cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their finger back at him and said, "Zit, zit, zit." See the monkeys? This made the peddler angry, so he shook both hands at them and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, "Zit, zit, zit." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot. Can you stamp your foot? And he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Zit, zit, zit." By this time, the peddler was really very angry. He stamped both his feet, bump, bump, and he shouted, You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet. By this time, the peddler was really very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Zit, zit, zit." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and he threw it on the ground and he began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. Ha! And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps and he put them back on his head. First, his own checkered cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps, on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!"